Is retail coming back to crypto? Today, we're going to break it all down for you. There's a lot of news that I think you guys will want to listen to. And it's going to be interesting because there's some cool stuff at the end. So stick around for that. Before we get started, I do want to thank our sponsor, and that is Tangem. This is where you can get into self-custody. You can go in and get, I think, the Chinese New Year. That's right. This is a great card, beautiful packaging. Might be a collector one day. Who knows? But get a Tangem wallet, get a 3-card set using our link down below. Let's get started because there's a lot of things going on. I'll just jump over this first tweet right here. This is really getting to why the market is so interesting right now. If you look at the way that we've seen tops in Bitcoin and other crypto over the past cycles, we haven't necessarily seen that in this cycle. And one of the things that Jason talks about here, Bitcoin is down 52% from its 126K high. That's a $66,000 loss per Bitcoin right now in 4 months. But as mentioned, in 2025, he thinks that these indicators would not work in this cycle, especially as a collective indicator. So it means that this cycle is different. So trying to track it from previous cycles, and I know all the traders will say, but yeah, Paul, watch the charts. There are just so many impending issues that will affect crypto in general. That's why I think we'll continue to see a little bit of flexibility on where the market is going to be going. Another thing that happened, of course, is Robinhood. And Robinhood, I would say, is one of the leaders when it comes to retail, especially the retail investor. They, of course, now launched the Robinhood Chain. This is live on testnet. A lot of things are going to be happening on that. I want to go to a clip where they start to talk a little bit about this. Take a look.
This is their attempt to go toe-to-toe with Nasdaq and the New York Stock Exchange.
For us, the first feature that we're going to launch is less about, trading of meme coin or about Launchpad and this kind of thing that we've seen on some of the competitors. And it's going to be a bit more of this financial instrument that we've been talking around, tokenized asset, tokenized stocks, tokenized real world assets that, we are a really big believer in, and we think it's going to be the way to change the system.
And I think this is going to be a good move for them because of the fact that they have such, first of all, they have such a gamification approach toward their app. But more importantly, they have a new and next generation investor that I think will apply to this. There's a lot to this that I'll get into a little bit more. But I want to go into a clip where they were talking about this new chain and the fact that they're opening up developer opportunities. Take a look.
We have a Robinhood wallet. We have a Robinhood app that is connected to a lot of crypto system. And so for us to connect to a developer apps that is on the chain, we will have to make sure that, it match all the requirements that we have around customer protection, around regulation and all these things. And so that's what it would mean if we wanted to kind of approve an app on our side. But again, permissionless chain. So, anyone can build anything on it. And we are not going to be approving every single application there.
Right. Some applications, some tools that developers build might be certified by Robinhood and might get elevated in the Robinhood experience with the apps and distribution that you guys have.
Exactly.
This is something that I think Robinhood is going to need to really pay close attention to because their rollout process over the past several years has been very slow going. Obviously, we saw with the credit card, yes, they rolled it out, but it was limited. Banking, which I thought was going to be out mainstream by the end of last year, that is just now starting to roll out. So I want to see this in action before I kind of make a determination on it. But if you look at Arbitrum, they kind of mentioned it right here. The Chain's testnet is now live on the platform. Phase 1, of course, is going to focus on onboarding and infrastructure testing. So you'll get testnet gas, stock tokens, contract deployment, and then, of course, a lot more Explorer visibility. So those are the very basics that we will see. I anticipate there will be a lot more coming, so be on the lookout for that. Also, the Link partnership has started to expand with Chainlink, and of course, I think this is another one because now builders are going to be related into where they can leverage Chainlink's data and interoperability. This will be a very good benefit, I think, for some of the apps, or dApps, I should say, that will be built on the Robinhood system. And this is going to, hopefully it proves me wrong in the sense to where we see more rollouts and faster. That is really going to get very innovative, I think, for new investors. I want to go to the next clip because this next clip will get into a little bit more detail on where they think they are different, and it's specific to liquidity. Take a look.
It's just a constraint on the expression of the asset. If there's not a lot of liquidity there, then you have to worry about liquidation if you use it as collateral and things like Aave. And so the liquidity problem is pretty fundamental.
With the fragmentation of the market, you're going to have a fragmentation of liquidity. And so application like Robinhood and other application will have to actually use that as an advantage to be able to route the orders to the best price available, the same way that's what we are doing for crypto trading on the platform. So when you buy a Bitcoin on Robinhood, we offer in general the lowest cost available in average. And the reason for that is because we connect to multiple market makers, multiple exchange. And when you place an order, we actually look at what is the best price between the different systems, and we only route to the best one. And so I think that's going to happen as well for the stock token. And that will create the arbitrage necessary between the liquidity pools, between the market makers that live on these pools, to actually make sure that the price stay pegged to the actual underlying asset.
All right. So one of the things, of course, he's getting to obviously is liquidity. This is the biggest challenge that we see on other chains around tokenized stocks. That I think Robinhood has a big leverage on because of the amount of users and distribution. That's going to be huge. The other thing is they're going out and after the best price. So the best price for the user means that they're leveraging in opportunities around saving money, even on DEXs. So this will be interesting to watch if they actually succeed at doing this. They've done it before in stocks. Maybe we'll see it. And in crypto, maybe we'll see it here as we start to expand. Now, one of the things that it's going to have to happen for Robinhood to really kind of elevate to the next level is going to be clarity. We think that's going to pass. The real question is where yields play into this and how maybe centralized exchanges like Robinhood will participate. Here's a clip. Take a look.
I don't agree with the idea that no bill is better than a bill. For example, we offer staking everywhere in the US, but 4 different states that, for now don't authorize it. So it's been really difficult to offer a unified experience. And at the end of the day, who's suffering is the customer. Having this Clarity Act will kind of put us back in the game at the same level as other countries like the EU, where we have the MiCA framework, and we'll be able to start building on top of it. I think there's a lot of compromise that can be done on each side where, having the proper disclosure about the risk and having the proper explanation to the customer to understand that stablecoins are not bank accounts, or that stablecoin can be used as more than just a payments rail is pretty important.
I like the fact that, one, they are positive around that certain concessions can be made. It looks like they're on the other side of this for Coinbase. Coinbase, of course, loses immediate revenue because of Coinbase revenue on stablecoins with Circle. This is a little bit different with Robinhood because, yes, they pay some interest on some of your US dollars. I think the real question is if they're able to leverage into DeFi in the future, and that most likely could be a huge gateway and an opportunity for Robinhood going forward. So it's going to be a good one to watch. Listen, we got to talk a little bit about clarity, and this tweet right here by Cody Carbone is interesting. And he makes a statement here: digital asset tax clarity is the next shoe to drop. Now, he's said that on my show before. I don't know if this is manifesting that he thinks we're going through and getting clarity, or maybe he knows something that clarity has already been done. Remember, there was a big meeting yesterday with the banks and the crypto industry. Is it possible that we might have a hidden agreement that has not resulted into the market just yet? I don't know. Bitcoin is trading at around 66K as we're recording this right now. And I don't know if the market is seeing that, but right now it'll be very interesting if we actually do get something coming out of DC in the next few weeks. Other things you have to look back on is Robinhood's stock price absolutely cratered 10%. That's big for Robinhood. And this was really going after their Q4 2025 revenue. We kind of know a little bit about why that occurred, just with crypto falling off. But even though still Q4 should have been a fairly good number for them, I was a little bit surprised in their numbers going down. So I think the timing here is going to be critical for Robinhood. Could it mean that a lot of this new product and service is kind of unsung in the way where most people buying Robinhood stock just don't know about it? And I think there's some opportunity here. All right, if you look at where Coinbase has been going, in the same vein of where Robinhood is going, now that Robinhood has a chain, you look at the Base app, one of the things that I think has been the big knock here is the fact that Coinbase and the Base app unable to really execute on the social component of being able to bring this into a dApp inside the base app. So I don't know. First of all, I was a little bit skeptical as to whether or not they could roll this out and make it work. And now I think, it kind of proved me right in the sense I just didn't think this was going to work. And of course, now they're sunsetting the creator rewards. The whole package is pretty much disintegrating on the base app. Now, I don't know if Robinhood can pick this up and do something better, or other platforms will be able to go in this direction, but there's a lot happening in the market right now for next generation retail. One of the reasons I think Base is also kind of gone in this direction, Coinbase, in terms of abandoning this, especially on the social side, is to move toward the retail side. And that, I think, for trading, and I think that's where they're seeing activity like what you saw with BZ, which of course just shot up the chart in terms of a revenue generating project on Base. And if you look at this was from Andrea. She's been on our show a couple of times, and this is $1 million in revenue in a single day. That's the point that we're getting at, is there's some opportunity. They haven't even been able to get ready for this inside the Base app. So I think that is another fail on Coinbase, that they've got to get going on kind of next generation investors. Remember, though, that there was other platforms that they launched. X402 was one. This was a micropayment system for AI agents, starting with Base, but it looks like they're adding more chains. And Stripe, of course, is integrating this. I don't know if this one is going to fly yet. Again, I'm skeptical as to whether or not this gets major adoption. So prove me wrong. Let me know if you guys think that is a different track here for Coinbase. Drop them in the comments down below. I'd love to get your feedback. All right, so Securitize also going in for retail as they connect down to Uniswap. This, of course, is getting big because remember, Uniswap just won their case, absolutely has a new patent on this. What does this mean? Well, it means that BlackRock is now buying Uniswap. Now, they haven't purchased it yet, but the intent is here. So this will be huge for Uniswap. BlackRock, one of the only big ones out there coming in on Uniswap. That is crazy for sure. Jack Dorsey, also moving on the CashApp. Everybody understands, I think, where we're going with this, and that is that a lot of things are happening right now. CashApp is offering a 0 to low fees on large and recurring Bitcoin buys. So are any of you guys using CashApp to buy your Bitcoin? Let me know. I'm kind of curious because that would be interesting. The fact that it's low or no fees. All right, so let's roll up a little information on Hong Kong consensus. This kind of will give you another indication why retail might be coming back. Take a look.
Welcome to Hong Kong. I'm pleased that a lot of our initiatives in the area are in good progress. One key initiative is our implementation of the Stablecoins Ordinance. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority is actively processing licensing applications, and we believe the first batch of stablecoin issuer licenses will be issued within next month. Meanwhile, our Securities and Futures Commission announced the Aspire roadmap. We have since implemented a series of measures to boost liquidity of the VA market. Ladies and gentlemen, Hong Kong will continue to go all out to stay at the forefront of this pivotal shift in finance and technology. Join hands with us and build a brighter digital future together.
How did they beat Scott Bessent to this statement? I mean, that to me is a hit. One, of course, it opens up the Pacific Rim in a big way to retail. And I think that, of course, Asia is going to be a major center on retail and the growth of it. We'll see it in the EU as well as the Middle East. I think the United States needs to get the ball on the court quickly. So Solana also had their event. They were also aligned with what's happening in Hong Kong, and that's a lot of advancement. Take a look at this clip.
We are among the top 4 for tokenized gold. We're the leading issuer from Asia and the only one allowing physical redemption in Hong Kong as well as Singapore. From EVM ecosystems like Ethereum, BSC, to move-based ecosystems like Sui, and most recently launched today on Solana. And within Solana, we're first deployed on Radium, and soon will be available on more wallets and as well as lending markets.
All right, so that's a big deal because I think with the fact that we're going to see tokenized gold moving in to Solana in a much more, I think, quick fashion around the Asian markets is going to be pretty big. Yat Siu kind of jumps in a little bit here and talks, and if you guys don't know who Yat Siu is, he's the CEO of Animoca Brands, that company is eventually going to be a publicly traded company here in the United States that will give you access to Web3 as an ecosystem. That's a big deal because he's very much centered around AI agents and what they can do in crypto. Take a look at this clip.
America is clearly bigger, but from a mass adoption user perspective, I think Asia is going to be the center of it. Right now, we haven't had a lot of new people enter crypto on the retail side. Right? It's been mostly institutions. In fact, the market's held up by institutions. But the biggest event where we added a lot of people was 21, 22. It was NFTs, it was metaverse, it was gaming. I'm not happy that we're going to have hundreds of millions of people have crypto. We need to have billions of people own that. And the way to do that is basically through an agentic framework.
When is that next wave of retail
Next
coming?
12, 18 months. And the problem about OpenAI is that now they're selling you advertising. However, there's a new industry that's evolving. Again, OpenClaw kind of opened that for the imagination, but right now it's just still in the realm of geeks. You know, Maltbook, it's basically 99% agents run by 1% humans. So, however, eventually, and I think it's going to happen very fast, when the AI agent goes into your home and does stuff, even just over email, the magic happens. I think it's going to happen very, very fast.
I'm in agreement with Yat Siu on this because it is one of those trends very similar to social. And I know many of you guys think, you know, social's exploded, but you have to remember all the way back to 2007 when social started, it was the geeks that were running it. Nobody was using it. So the fact that we'll see AI agents, I think, accelerate because it's going to be involved in the financial instrument side. The pickup rate may be much faster. So I agree with Yat Siu. Maybe 12 to 18 months, we could see some major retail coming back in. AI agents could be a big part of this. And if you look at the Super Bowl, happened just this last week, Mr. Beast did a big ad. This was in conjunction with Salesforce. And it was a riddle or a puzzle that you had to solve. Nobody solved it for $1 million. And the idea was, is it just kept on going? In other words, the ad still lives on today. And what he's done is he's connected this to AI agents to possibly help you solve the puzzle. This is brilliant marketing, and it brings in what I think will be next generation. Take a look at this clip.
So far, no one has solved it. Like, no one's even close to winning it, and a lot of it ties back to the commercial.
The interesting twist here is you have an addition of an AI system that's going to help people solve the clues. Tell me about that.
You can ask it questions. We haven't turned it on yet, but if people start struggling too much, then we're going to allow them to use Slackbot to help solve certain parts of the puzzle. And overarchingly, the first person to Slack me the hidden code will win the $1 million. So last night, I think there was around 60 million different people visited the website. So 1 million every 15 minutes. So it seems like a huge success for Salesforce, and it's continuing to crush. Guys, I'll tweet out if someone wins the $1 million. Until you see that, it's still going on. You just watch the commercial. Literally from your computer, you could win $1 million by the end of today.
Between you and I, can you give me a hint?
Maybe.
I love it.
I guess that's a no, man.
I like it. Listen, Mr. Beast, brilliant marketer. This is a great tool. One thing I think it will do is going to connect the dots for gamification. Speaking of gamification, because remember, Mr. Beast is launching a financial app in conjunction with BMNR. Remember, we talked about this quite a bit. Very interesting tie-in here. And something big is happening right now in the market. I agree with Wall Street Bets. They put up a tweet right here. Something big is happening. And if you look at some of the moves that are being made, let's just jump over to GameStop. This is a good example right here. GameStop is teasing an acquisition that is insane if this is real. Look at the statement. GameStop plotting a very, very, very big acquisition. This came from their CEO, Ryan Cohen. And he basically says it could send the company's valuation to several hundreds of billions of dollars. This would be a major leap forward for GameStop. And remember, GameStop, one of the biggest, I think one of the companies that understands gamification. If we don't end up with, a debacle like we had with Robinhood in the past, this could be a huge move forward that again will look at retail maybe flooding into some of these types of projects. Have you started DCA-ing? We'll do a poll real quick. Have you started this DCA into Bitcoin and crypto, or are you sitting in stables waiting for lower prices? I'm going to say that most of you are probably 25% in right now. Let's see. No, 0. We're going to go shopping at 50K. I like it. However, we do have some guys holding in at 10%, 22%, 14% in 21. Everybody's still bearish on the market. Maybe this is the time. Pay attention out there, guys. It's going to get busy. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe, drop a comment down below, and also join our free private member group. The link is in the description.